Shelley Winter Show live, local, topical, and relevant, my friend. So, today was the big day, the Atlanta Press Club debate for governor. So there was some debates yesterday. Republican Secretary of State Vernon Jones versus Tim Fleming. I'll be giving my endorsement on that race tomorrow or later on in the week. Also, Democrat Secretary of State Dana Barrett versus Judge Penny Brown Reynolds. Interesting race there. I want to talk about that later on in the week as well. But today, this afternoon, was Republican governor, the big one. Burt Jones versus Rick Jackson. And Rick Jackson, as we talked about last week, wasn't there. He was previously scheduled for Rick Scott. And I saw on Facebook, I don't know how true these numbers are, just someone posted this, that there were 600 people there. So you take that with a grain of salt. You have it to 300, and then you go from there. Might have been, but that was just someone on Facebook, you know. That's like when I was going around when I had my holiday party at Scofflaw, and I was telling everyone, 200 people were at my holiday party. 200 people RSVP'd, and so, you know, who knows. But it was close to 200 according to Scofflaw. But you get my point, right? So this person on Facebook said it was 600 people. I don't know. But, you know, it was, you know, a rally with Rick Scott, senator from Florida. And so he didn't show up. Rick Jackson didn't show up. Empty podium. That's what the press club does. Invitations go out. Now, let me first reiterate what I said last week. The Atlanta Press Club, these dates were not sent out, as contrary to what people think. These dates were not sent out after the election. They were sent out before the election. The Atlanta Press Club plans these things because they know there's probably likely going to be a runoff. So emails went out early. They did not go out election night. They went out early. Hey, on January 1st, we're going to do this debate. On January 31st, we're doing these races. That's what they did. And if the race didn't get into a runoff, then there was no reason to have it. It got pulled back. Whoever got the email just ignored it. So the idea that this was quick and Rick should and Burt should have agreed, no. Rick Jackson should have agreed. It's Atlanta Press Club debates. Then the other thing is who's watching. Well, a lot of people are watching because they watch them. They repeat. They're online right now. You can go to GPB or Atlanta Press Club. All the debates are right there on YouTube. A lot of people do. To see how their candidate performed, or if their candidate's not in a runoff, they want to know what they want to do next, so people do go watch it. You can't have, listen, let me say this to everybody that believes who watches debates, because I heard this on Georgia Gang, of all places, by a comms director of a campaign. Debates aren't important. Really? So then how do we get an informed electorate? By spending? Because I'm not an informed voter if I only listen to your advertising. And if you have more money than everybody else, then all your ads dominate, then I'm not an informed voter if the only information I'm listening to is your attack ads. That's not an informed voter. Informed voters find information about all the candidates, whether they go to their website. That's why candidates have websites. ShelleyWinterForGovernor.com. You go find out my platform. You go find out what I'm all about. That's what we want. We want debates. Not no debates. Oh, because I can reach more people at a rally. Really? How's that possible? When the debate today is online, I can go to YouTube, search Atlanta Press Club debates, and all of them are right there. The ones from yesterday and the ones from today are right there. I could do Atlanta Press Club, scroll down. Oh, Republican. Governor. Let me click on it, see what these guys are talking about. Because I voted for Chris Carr, or I voted for Brad Raffensperger, or I may not have cast a vote in the primary, and now it's a runoff, and now I'm going to make a decision. So I want to be informed. So anybody that tells you with a straight face debates don't matter is lying to you. Straight up. Because if you want to be an informed voter and not just go with the advertising or go with sounds good, then you watch the debates. You go to the websites. You see what people are for or against. And a lot of people that I'm watching are for Mr. Jackson based on the advertising, not based on any kind of priorities, because the priorities on a website are the exact same priorities of every other Republican running for office. So it's not about the priorities. It's something else. But I want to play for you. This is a very interesting exchange, and I'm doing air quotes, between Burt Jones and an empty podium.
Burt Jones, you can now ask a question to your opponent represented by the empty podium, and you will have 30 seconds to ask the question, and then you got 20 seconds to give a rebuttal to how you think your opponent may have responded. So those are the ground rules of where we are proceeding right now.
All right. Well, if my opponent was here, if Jackson was here, I would just ask him very simply, what is the deal with the Medicare fraud and the $750,000 in settlement money that he paid the Department of Justice? I would ask him about his campaign contributions to Stacey Abrams, as well as Liz Cheney and Jeff Duncan, and his association with organizations like Planned Parenthood. And last but not least, I would ask him about the question I tripped him up on last time he was on stage. How many illegals do you have working for your company? How many illegal immigrants do you have working at your home? And obviously he couldn't answer that question then. It's probably the reason why he's not here now is he doesn't have any answers for these questions that have been asking. And of course, like I said, it just shows a man's character when he won't show up.
And that was Burt Jones. Now, I would play sound from Rick Jackson if I had sound from Rick Jackson. I got a text from my good friend, Mike Conjimi, who said he was at the gun club event today with Rick Scott, and the 600 number is accurate. Thank you, Mike, for sending me that. I was at the Governor's Gun Club, and he said the 600 number is accurate, which is a decent-sized crowd when you're in a runoff, but I suspect all of the people that were there are already Rick Jackson supporters. So you just brought your own supporters out to see you speak. Now, there might have been some people who in that crowd who like Carr and Raffensperger. I don't know. I do know that the informed voters will seek out all the information on both candidates to make a decision starting next Monday. And I'll reiterate again for everyone out there. Obviously, I'm Burt Jones for governor guy. Everyone knows it. It's no big secret. But I will say this, having a debate on the 14th with Election Day on the 16th, it's weak sauce. It's absolutely weak sauce. Why would you go to a debate on the 14th with Election Day coming up on Tuesday? That's the last weekend day, Sunday, to hit the streets and fly all across the state and hit events all over the state. In other words, and by the way, the people saying, well, why doesn't he agree to do the 14th, are the same people who said it's not important to do the first. Self-awareness, my friends. Self-awareness. It's Shelley Winter Show, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB Talk. We'll be right back.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is...